Now bear in mind, these are different from my predictions. This is what I wish would happen. So the first match, Sheamus and Cesaro, or Cesaro versus the Hardy Boys. It's about time Cesaro take the belts off the Hardy Boys, but in the process, I think Matt Hardy should break. It's a perfect time to do it. Have Matt Hardy climb the cage, but then have either Sheamus or Cesaro push him off. Falling from a height causes some head trauma, and then you have broken Matt Hardy again. Moving on, Austin Aries versus Neville. Austin Aries should finally take the belt off Neville. He's tried and tried and tried again, but he's never been successful. But this is that perfect time. Get Austin Aries to finally make Neville tap out again now, but on the pay-per-view. Neville takes out all his frustrations on TJ Perkins and then cause a rivalry between them. And in that process, have maybe Jack Gallagher turn heel and then face Austin Aries for the title in the future. Miz versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. It's about time that lunatic fool loses that belt to the Miz. Then you can have Dean Ambrose just go completely bonkers and maybe turn and maybe attack Maurice. It is the PG era, so they don't allow it. Maybe he makes his advancements towards Maurice and Miz comes in the way. And that would be perfect for a double turn because Miz is slightly getting cheered by the fans now. And now the match that I'm looking forward to the most. Yup, you guessed it. Sasha Banks and Rich Swann versus Alicia Fox and Noam Dar. I don't give a fuck who wins this match. Sasha should turn on Rich Swann. And then Alexa Bliss versus Bayley for a pole on a pole match. Now I don't give a shit who grabs this pole because, well, it's a girl grabbing a pole. But have Bliss go over and then have Nia come out to help celebrate, but then Nia takes out Alexa. And that would start an Alexa Bliss face run. But if you think about it, Raw doesn't have many face women. I mean, there's Sasha Banks and Bayley, but apart from them, there's no one on the top tier of women wrestling. And the final match, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. This is a tough one. Have Finn Balor win this match, and then go on to face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. Ugh. But then, as a little trick to all the fans, have Finn Balor take the title off Brock Lesnar. That will set up a rematch at SummerSlam. And then you kind of hold some credibility towards Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar because otherwise Brock Lesnar's coming in and just decimating Finn Balor because that's what everyone's expecting. So that little swerve will kind of make people think that, hey, you know what? Maybe Finn Balor has a chance of retaining this belt at SummerSlam, but then have Brock Lesnar win it back. This week's By God moment has to go to Dolph Ziggler's surprising win over AJ Styles. Dolph Ziggler has received a lot of criticism from a lot of people about not being able to reach that top position in the company. But this week, surprisingly, Dolph Ziggler pulls off a win over someone who's considered that position of number one in AJ Styles. So to give Dolph Ziggler that completely clean win over that number one position guy, AJ Styles, well, that's a pretty big shocker. So with Extreme Rules just around the corner, I have to do my favorite hardcore matches of all time. Number 3, Triple H versus Mick Foley at the Royal Rumble 2000. Now this was more of a street fight, but it's still hardcore stipulation. But Mick Foley kicking out of a pedigree, being covered in thumbtacks and barbed wire, and just the amount of blood in that ring. I mean, just go back and watch it. Both men put themselves through a hellacious time and really put on a spectacle for all the fans watching. Number 2 is the ECW One Night Stand 2006 match between RVD and John Cena. Extreme Rules stipulation, a Money in the Bank cash-in, a title on the line, and a lot of fans booing John Cena. And that was the first time I saw that sign, if Cena wins, we riot. ECW fans were insane. But the best thing was Edge coming out, spearing John Cena through a table, pulling off the biker's helmet to reveal who it was, and in turn that gave RVD his first WWE title win. And my number 1 hardcore stipulated match of all time was Edge versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22. That match was so crazy with flaming tables and thumbtacks and barbed wire. involvement of Lita, and Mick Foley even took a barbed wire baseball bat to the nuts. That final spear through the flaming table was a highlight. Was a highlight that's still shown till today. Well, whenever they're not showing PG stuff. The match left you with a sigh of relief that both men are still alive. Sami Zayn got stretchered off last week, but he's back this week taking revenge on Baron Corbin in a tag team match. Number 9 is the Titus brand, Titus O'Neil. I'm not even sure, is he the Titus brand himself, or does he have the whatever. He pulled off a win against Kalisto, showing Apollo Crews that he's the man and he needs to be followed. The returning New Day are back, and they're back to make their claim on the tag team division on SmackDown. Another returning team, the Revival, who kind of built some interest in me regarding this whole Enzo Cass situation. Speaking of Big Cass, he's at number 6, where he's got me thinking, hey, are you behind Enzo's attack? And that's a good thing. Shinsuke Nakamura at number 5, pulling off yet another win over the US champion Kevin Owens. The king of the cruiserweight taps to Austin Aries? Well, obviously, that puts Austin at number 4. The big dog takes out his former Shield brethren, Seth Rollins, to get the number 3 position this week. And pulling off a monumental upset, Dolph Ziggler takes the number 2. And the only man this week to beat 2 people by himself, Samoa Joe, takes the number 1 position. Which superstar held the Money in the Bank briefcase the longest before they cashed it in? I'll give you a hint. JBL mentions it on SmackDown Live. For this week's trivia, you can leave all your answers down in the comment below or on Instagram or Twitter. Last week's correct answer was Chris Jericho was the person to come up with the Money in the Bank ladder match concept. Ironically, he's never won it. And here are all the people that knew that. Follow them on their handles, T for Twitter and I for Instagram. As for now, that's it from me. I will see you at Extreme Rules. Kayfabe Jobber, out.